The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Brecheen. Brought to you by MEDINE'S Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose MEDINE'S. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Brecheen.
Welcome to the show. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I love we do these Skype meetings on the computer and today we've got a great North Louisiana head coach, Justin Scogin. Justin,
yes.
Thanks for joining us, man, from Airline.
Appreciate it, man. Thank
Bossier
you. Yes,
City.
sir. Go Vikings.
And I say that, Coach, because a lot of people might not know where Airline's at if you're in Houma and you see the show, or Monroe, or Baton Rouge, or Mandeville. So we're just letting them know that you're in Bossier City, and we'll have a few segments with Coach. And this is your first year. Congratulations on being your first head coaching job over here at Airline. But I wanted to get into first of all. People might not know this, and I didn't know it. I was asking the other day, I said, Coach, where'd you go to high school? And you said you were a Wampus cat, Leesville High School.
I was, yeah, graduate of Leesville High School.
2001, man, I'm getting old. I remember
we all are.
I remember you in baseball, though. And you had told me, I was a baseball guy, and you were a pretty good baseball player in the day.
Not too bad. I was average for high school, so I loved it. I enjoyed playing all the sports. I was better at baseball, and that's kind of what I was a little more known for.
Coach, you were at Leesville in 2021, and you were AD and offensive coordinator, and then this is not your first rodeo in Bossier City. I mean, you were at Parkway with the well-known David Feaster, the legend, the legend Feaster. Who brought in that West Coast offense and was on top of the world. You were a part of that at Parkway. You were part of the Terrace Marshall and Wood Tees and the Brandon Harrises and all those guys that came out of there. What was that like being with David Feaster?
Man, it was a blast. Me and him had a lot of fun. We were together 7 years, and taught me a lot of stuff. He taught me a lot of stuff about offense and, how to run a program and the small things, that he did right. And, having the players like that, having kids like Brandon Harrison, Wood T and Rogers and Terrace Marshall, Broderick Jefferson, Artavius Lynn. We had a good run of kids during those years. But, the big thing was, we ran a good program, and we got the program to the point where we had kids that wanted to come, and, kids that had grown up in South Bossier. I always tell people the year we went to the Dome, we had a 5'4" linebacker and a 5'8" linebacker.
I remember that
just grew up in South Bossier. Always wanted to be Parkway Panthers. And, those are the guys we wanted Airline. We want guys that just kind of grow up, wanting to wear the Columbia and blue, man. That's what it's all about. To me, that's been the biggest part of my career is, finding guys that really want to play for the school where they're from and where they're born and bred and where their parents played and stuff like that, because those are the guys that have the most pride. And that's the kind of guys everybody remembers the Brandon Harrises and for good reason, because Brandon and Wood T and all of them were phenomenal. Terrace. But the guys that, the guys that didn't get a lot of credit were the guys that kind of, drove our program behind the scenes. Those guys were, we always, when we sent Antonio McGee to McNeese, we always said, man, this is going to be the best thing for our program because Antonio is going to go to Lake Charles and people are going to fall in love with him because he's the right kind of guy, because he was a good kid. He did the right things. He had a good GPA, he had a great ACT. And then when Brandon went to LSU and started doing interviews, it was kind of like people were like, man, y'all do a great job. Just listen to this kid. Yeah. And it just kind of snowballed from there, because Terrace was a great kid. Artavius was a great kid. I mean, just every kid that we were putting out were kids that, we thought were great role models for kids and great, great people from Parkway High School. And that's the thing we want to do, at Airline. We want to send guys out that are going to really make Airline High School kind of a place where people look at it and say, man, those are good kids. They work hard. They do the right thing, and they're really good at football.
Coach, before we take a break, I want to ask you this, and actually I'll save it for the next break, but the military background with Bossier, with Barksdale, a lot of parents who are in the Air Force have kids at Airline and Parkway and Bossier High, and how much that really helps discipline-wise. And, when your mom and dad are in the Navy and the military, I always think it's a different edge, because I was talking to some of the Parkway guys way back when y'all were there. And there were a lot of those guys' dads and moms were in the Air Force, and they just seem really mature beyond their years, and
that was kind of the interesting thing, because both places I've been, all three places I've been have dealt with military. Leesville more so than any of them. We're very dependent on the Army. If you take Fort Polk out of Leesville, we're probably 2 or 3A. We have a heavy transient population, that comes and goes. And, my view on it has always been, they make your program better, even if they're there for 2 years. Usually with the Air Force, you see the Air Force kind of stay longer. Usually the Army was 2 years, man. They were 2 years, and then you get really excited about them, and all of a sudden, they just vanish. You'd be like, man, where's so-and-so? Like, they PCS to Germany. You're like, dang, I was really looking forward to that kid.
I remember calling, and I know we got to take a break, but I remember calling a coach every year at Leesville. And I'm like, where's that linebacker with the name I can't pronounce? Oh, he's back in California, or he's in Hawaii, or like you said, he's back in.
He's in North Carolina. He's in North Carolina, Kentucky, or Texas. I can
assure you. 120
or Oklahoma or New York State. Yeah,
right.
That's just how it was, man.
We're gonna take a break. We'll have more with Coach Justin Scogin from Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana, graduate of Leesville, Wampus Cat. And we'll talk about the old Leesville Wampus Cats. There's a lot of history there. And then we're going to get to Airline High School, the team he has. Got a lot of good players coming back. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back. Lee Brecheen, your host with the Sports Scouting Report. Really excited to have first-year coach at Airline High School, Justin Scogin. I hope I'm saying that right, Coach.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Even if you misspell, even mispronounce it, it's all good. I've lived with it my whole life, man. It's no big deal.
They call me Brecheen, and Brecheen. I said, whatever.
Yeah. No, heck no, man. I knew exactly who Lee Brecheen was, man. I've heard all. Y'all do a great job, man. Y'all do a great job with that magazine, man. It's a huge deal. I buy it every year. I'm excited to get one sent.
Well, now this one's going to be, you're going to be getting the head coach and free copy this year, man.
Shoot, man. I know.
Head coach, and we do
one of the perks,
man. When you're not a coordinator, yeah. But Coach, I could spend here talking 30 minutes about just Leesville, and we're going to get to Team Airline. But you went to that, like I said, you went to an Army-based school, Leesville. What was that like for you growing up? Being a Wampus Cat, and what did that teach you? I mean, I actually worked on the base years ago building tennis courts, Coach. And
nice.
I was amazed on how big the base is, man. I was like, all the streets.
The base is huge. Yeah, the base is huge. When you get out there and you start, exploring stuff and looking around, and you're just kind of blown away at the, just I guess the whole majesty of the whole thing. You drive, you see tanks, and you see. The cool thing about Barksdale is you drive and you see these gigantic bombers, and you see them up close, and it's powerful, man. These things are gigantic. You see them flying every day, and I saw a fighter jet flying. I mean, it's just all that stuff's really cool, because you see that stuff in magazines and you see it on TV, and you don't realize just how big those things are, and just how cool they are, and how cool the military is. The guys that go over there and actually do that stuff. That was probably the coolest. That was the coolest part about going to school in Leesville. You got to meet a lot of people. A lot of people would come in and come out. You'd go to school with kids one year and you'd come back. And of course, we had a core group of friends that I always hung out with. But you always had new guys coming in, and they wanted to fit in, and I was the guy that, as you can probably tell, I made friends with everybody and tried to make people as comfortable as I could. Because it had to be tough. My parents, my dad owned a bunch of auto parts stores, and my mom owns a radio station, and we were very rooted.
Come on, now, your mom has a radio station?
She does. Yeah. 93.5 in Leesville.
That's where you get this open talking. That's why you
yeah,
know, Coach.
Yeah, that's my mom's. So yeah, I've done baseball. I mean, I've done baseball. I've done basketball my whole life, growing up, doing stuff on the radio. My brother's more quiet than I am, but I was always the one that was the idiot that wanted to get on there and just start, going and talking about, trying to show everybody how much I knew, But anyway, yeah, it was fun in that sense. You had a sense of pride, knowing that you're by one of the biggest Army bases and the best Army bases in the United States. And when I came up here, the cool thing, when I was at Parkway, we practice every day. You see the B-52s coming in, and I think people, the people that are the civilians, they're a little more enamored by it than the people that are in the military, because they're used to seeing all this stuff. Yeah. But when the B-52s and the F-16s and all that, the fighter jets would come by, it's powerful, because you think about it like, man, I wonder what that plane has done. Right. To the point where, over the years you see so many of them, but in the beginning, man, it's a powerful deal because, those are the same ones that are going to the Middle East and bombing and doing stuff. And, making sure that we're able to sit over here and just coach football and have fun and do what we do. Those guys are they're going over there every single day and putting it on the line for us. So, I mean, it's just the military in general is an unbelievable thing for me. And I've been lucky to be around it my whole life. I haven't really gotten an intimate look into it, because those guys are very private about what they do and, that sort of stuff. But, and I was lucky enough to work with a handful of guys. Coach Ward was a Vietnam veteran. He passed away a couple of years ago. He coached with us at Parkway, and he taught me a lot of things, just Army wise. And I really just genuinely enjoyed him, and just a handful of guys over the years. But yeah, that was the biggest thing about Leesville is, I guess, just the pride of knowing that Fort Polk was right down the road, and it was one of the best places military wise in the country.
I want to thank everybody listening, watching. Thanks for your service in the military. Coach, I mean, you've had an interesting young career. I mean, here you are, you went to Leesville where Kevin Mawai played, Ray Smoot and Kavita Pittman and, Erwin Brown and all these, Eddie Fuller and on and on and on. And then you go to Parkway and you're around Feaster with Terrace Marshall, who's with Carolina Panthers now. And Brandon Harris is a coach at the University of Texas. Wow. And you're around all those guys. And now at Airline, where Todd Walker played baseball, who's making the big bucks with SEC Network Baseball now. And Airline's had some phenomenal football players and, soccer and softball and everything, but it's a big 5A school, Coach. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts on your team coming back and the guys that you have to replace, because I know there's always some holes to recreate in spring, but we'll get back with Coach Justin Scogin from Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana, the new head football coach. We'll be right back.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see MEDINE'S Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. You're watching the Sports Scouting Report. Our guest is Justin Scogin, the head football coach, first year football head coach at Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana. Coach, you were telling me off the air that your mom is, radio station, you growing up, and you told me a tidbit. I had no idea that Jim Hawthorne started at your mom's radio station. The legendary.
Yeah, so back then it was my grandparents, I believe. That was a while back. No offense to him. Started back there working, I believe, in KLLA, which is the AM station they have. Okay. And my mom talks about him all the time. She loves Jim Hawthorne.
I want to be where he's at, retired one day. So
I know how you feel.
I love what I do, but man, but Coach, we're talking about Airline High School and the blue, man, like you got your blue on now. I mean, it's got great jerseys, got the powder blue jerseys, got the dark blue jerseys. Airline always seems to be in the playoffs in football, always competitive, always a good kids. Mike Green was there a long time. I know Mike did a great job. I know he's at Lola Prep. And then Bo Meeks, Shout out to Bo Meeks. Prayers for him. I heard he's doing better, and you told me he's going to be at Mangum this year. Who did a good job with the program. Bo was there for a long time, and then you're getting the job, Coach, and you know Bo, and I'm sure Mike Green and all those guys when you were there at Parkway. But what do you think of this team? They're coming off a tough season. You know, it was a weird year again last year for you guys, and but you know, what do you think of this team coming up? A lot of seniors coming up, a lot of good young talent coming up.
Yeah, the first thing I want to say, I think, you know, when I got here, the first thing I realized was that Coach Meeks left it in really good shape. You know, as far as, you know, everything goes, the program, the kids were working hard. Everybody was doing, the staff, the returning staff is great. I mean, just everything about this place was in order, you know, all the way from the money, all the way down to the coaches. Everything, the program had been run the right way. And, you know, as far as stuff coming back, you know, I've been here a couple of weeks. I'm still learning names. And, you know, I'm coming every day and trying to figure stuff out. But there's a lot of guys, you know, you walk in there and the most impressive, you know, I guess is our freshmen. Our freshman group is kind of small, but, you know, the kids, the quality of kids in that freshman class is very impressive. You know, we've been maxing out and doing stuff like that, and the numbers and the kids, you know, just overall, I mean, you don't really pay as much attention to Max as freshmen and all that. But, you know, just there's good looking kids, there's tall kids, there's long kids, there's short and fast kids. I mean, there's all kinds of diversity as far as, you know, athletics go in there. And then you get up to the varsity level, you know, our big, our varsity period, and the kids are all, one, they know how to act, you know, and that's a big part, you know, that's a big part when a new coach comes in, when you come into a new program, you've got to try to instill a culture and, you know, all this stuff. Culture is an extremely overused word. You got to build basically a program, and the foundation for that program is already in place here, you know, because the coaches have been doing a good job in the off season since Coach Meeks left. They've been doing a good job of running the weight room and doing the small things that matter. Running the weight room, doing plyometrics, going to the field, you know, making sure everybody's dressed right. I mean, just all the easy things, you know, that a lot of people overlook. Our staff has held it together and done a phenomenal job. And they've kind of allowed me to just kind of show up and learn names and start trying to hire coaches and do stuff like that. I mean, it's been an extremely busy time, but it's been fairly easy.
Well, and I'm really happy that you're taking over, and you've got some seniors coming back that I saw play last year, the year before. The very interesting, unique guy. Me and you were talking about it the other day, Coach, but Daxton Chavez, who is a unique,
absolutely,
6'4", 90.
He's
he's
big.
Good.
Yeah, he's
fast
big
and track, good track.
Yeah, absolutely. Runs track as well. You know, he's 100, 200 guy, runs in the 4x4, which is, you know, huge for me, because I mean, that's a grown man's race. I mean, that's the race everybody wants to get out of. And he's just pumped up, you know, yeah, coach, I'll run the 400. So that, you know, that bodes well for him, you know, especially me just coming in. And I love track guys. I like guys that go and power lift and track and play baseball. And you know, I want a bunch of guys to play a lot of sports. You know, and I want guys that just, you know, more so than anything, just go and compete. And Daxton is one of those guys, man. He, from the time I got here, he has been pumped up, and I mean, he has all the tools. You know, the thing that you can't coach is size. I mean, you can't make a kid, you know, you look at some of the kids over the years that we've had that have ended up at smaller schools. It's solely based on the fact that they're 5'6", 5'7". You know, he has the ability to be a big time guy because he's 6'4". And I think it's all based on this season. You know, and our track record with receivers has been fairly decent over the years, you know, with Terrace and Broderick and DeJuan Tolbert at Leesville, the big tall receiver we had and all that. So I don't see anything changing with Daxton. I think he's going to have the potential to have a phenomenal year.
Coach, we're going to talk more about your players when we come back. There's a guy that you have coming back that reminds me of those old Parkway guys you're talking about. They were the small guys, but yet, you know, bring their lunchbox. Justin Epps is one I want to talk about when we come back. You told me he's benching 335, which is really phenomenal.
Yeah.
For a 5'9", 200-pound kid. We'll be right back with more. Coach Justin Scogin, head football coach, Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana. We'll be right back.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company.
Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the show. I am. I'm glad that our young new head coach at Airline in Bossier City joins us, Justin Scogin, new head coach from Leesville, Wampus Cat grad, 2001. Coach, your team, we're talking about some of the guys coming back. Justin Epps is one of those, bring your lunchbox guys, 5'9", 200, not the big time D1 name, but a guy behind the scenes benching 335, just a tough kid. Those are the kind of guys that, like you said, you need to win.
Yeah, shoot, man. I'll tell you, Justin is he's a dude. He's been a little bit nicked up. He had a little surgery over the off season, so it's kind of kept him out of a little stuff. But as far as the stuff that he's done since I've been here, leadership wise, and when I first got here, I told him just, hey man, go walk around and encourage people. And man, you don't have to tell him twice. He does all the right things, and he gets after it, with the things that he can do, he goes and gets after it. And man, watching him bench press 335 the other day was pretty impressive.
You're a dude
guy
when you're doing that. When you're 200
exactly,
doing that,
absolutely.
You got some O-linemen not benching 300, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and to have a guy that's, that's athletic, that can do stuff like that, and it's big and strong and fast and all that. I'm hoping he comes back 100% because he's a phenomenal football player.
Speaking of dudes, you got a guy named Jalen Shoemaker, a linebacker, who's a dude for you. Bob Patterson, receiver, tight end. Cameron Jefferson. These are dudes that you can build around, and Chris Montgomery. A lot of good players, Coach. So what do you think of those kids?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you take it from the top. Shoemaker's got the size. He's got the build. He's having a good off season. Cam, I love Cam. Cam's also, you talk about, he's never has a bad day. He always comes in. He's always happy. He's always working hard. He runs track. He does all the right things. Same thing with Bob. Bob's always good to be around. But all those guys kind of, they're trying to kind of fit into that mold of being leaders, and they're always here. They're always doing the right things. And both of those guys, all three of those guys, I'd look for them to have really good seasons. They're the right kind of guys. They're the guys to build the program around, like you said. Trey Jackson's another one that he's fantastic. And
you told me
there's a bunch of guys.
You told me Trey's Mr. Personality, right?
Trey never has a bad day. Trey always, he loves to talk, and he loves to do all that. Chris, I have to stay on them. I have to stay on their group about, they have no personality. They just get back there, and I have to make them like, hey man, y'all get something going, man. Y'all are boring. So I like messing with those guys, but they, all those guys, I mean, it's a lot of the right kind of guys, which is another thing that's positive for me. The kids get in there, and they work hard. And everything they do has a purpose. I mean, it's I think they're genuinely excited to get after it and start playing. And Daxon was telling me yesterday, he was like, man, Coach, I can't wait to compete, man. I want you to coach me hard and do all, they say all the right things, to get me excited, to get me pumped up, and to make me think that we can have a pretty good year.
That's what you need, man. Those kids that say, work me hard, and it's okay to jump on me when you need to. Make me better.
I always tell people that was the great thing about Terrace Marshall is, and all those guys, Terrace and Justin and all that group was, man, you could hammer them. And they were just like, yes, sir, Coach. I always make the joke. I yelled at Terrace for 2 years straight. Just beat him up every day because he wasn't running. He wasn't running fast enough for me, like you got to run, you got to give more effort and all that. Right. And one day early in his junior year, I think it was Coach Feaster or somebody. I was like, I said, I feel bad. And it just hit me. I was like, I feel bad because, I've been yelling at Terrace all these years for not running hard. And the reality of it is he runs so effortless that he really is running. He really is doing it to the best of his ability. It's just, he makes it look so easy. It makes it look like he's not really trying that hard.
And look, we want to tell the parents that watch this show, we can't get every kid's name out, but we're going to have all the good players in it. Most of the starters will be mentioned in the preview come late August. Might even add some names as we go when we talk to Coach again. But I interviewed Coach last week and we went over the team. So lafootballmagazine.com is where you can get the magazine. If you can't find it in Bossier City, Coach, speaking of the team and the program, I want to mention this. I want to give a shout out to the baseball program, but their famous alumni for LSU right now is Hayden Travinsky, the catcher, Airline, big guy, 6'3", 20. He bombs them away, Coach. He hit one about 450, I think, earlier this year. When he gets a hold of them, man,
he can rake.
They leave the parking lot. You know, you can't find the baseball.
Yeah.
At least you got a little kid out there
there's no
walking
doubt.
around with a glove, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, we had the you know, we've had some guy. I think it was Hagen's a couple of years ago that played at Arkansas Little Rock that had the really good tournament. Of course, Travisky, and we had a guy back in the day. I think his name was Todd Walker. He was pretty good in baseball.
He wasn't that bad.
And he had a couple of good years and all that. And then softball, we have two really good players in softball. One plays at LSU, one plays at Northwestern. And then I met a girl about an hour ago in the lobby, and I asked her if she played basketball. She said, "Yeah, no, I'm a senior." You know, I said, "Well, good. You know, congratulations." She said, "Yeah, I'm going to Northwestern." I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome."
There you
So
go.
we got a basketball player going to Northwestern next year too. So
yeah, y'all got a good basketball program there.
Yeah.
Good,
absolutely, Coach Taylor, one of our coaches' daughters, is going to ULM to run track as well. And you know, of course, we have a handful of guys. We have a big ULM presence here. Coach Garrett played at ULM, played offensive line. Coach Taylor played I think safety at is that right? Safety? Yeah, played safety at ULM. And
Garrett went to
another guy that's coming with me.
I got to mention this for Garrett Winfield, right? Winfield,
Absolutely, yeah.
Got to mention Winfield now.
Man, I meet somebody from Winfield every day. You know, we have a librarian from Winfield, Robbie Collins from Winfield, Coach Garrett's from. I mean, it's just Winfield's well represented everywhere you go. You find somebody from Winfield.
Y'all owning it. Winfield's owning it, man, at Airline. That'll work.
Yeah, no
Coach,
kidding, man.
We're going to come back one more segment with Coach. We're going to just do miscellaneous. So I might ask him how much he likes LSU. Baseball, I would think. What he thinks of Jay Johnson. I know you like baseball. You played baseball a lot in high school and also college. But we'll be back with more Justin Scogin, the head coach of Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana. We'll be right back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the show. Lee Brecheen, your host of Sports Scouting Report. Our coach, Justin Scogin, the head football coach, first year at Airline in Bossier City, comes over from Leesville, where he went to school. He was the AD there, and also one of the coaches, coordinators, and was at Parkway with David Feaster and Terrace Marshall, and now head coach Brandon Harris. Coach, what do you think of Brandon? I mean, when when I met him, I know you were around him every day at Parkway, but when I met him, so mature as a high school kid, and then goes to LSU, North Carolina. I'm not shocked he's a coach, but I was like, man, he's moved up quick as a coach at Texas.
He could, man. Yeah. Brandon could have done anything he wanted to do. He was an adult when he was an adult when he was a junior in high school. Not a lot of people saw the Brandon Harris I got to see. So, but there's not enough things to say about it. He's a great kid. He does everything right. He's one of those guys. I mean, until he got the job at Texas, we talked about it every day on the phone. We would call and talk for 10 or 15 minutes. And hey, look, man, we were really, until he got, when he gets the job at Texas, I mean, he's working from 4 a.m. to 10 at night. We don't get as much time, but we still talk all the time. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorites. I mean, just great kid. Everything he does, he always compliments people before he compliments himself. He's not one of those guys that needs a lot of attention. Just phenomenal kid. Love Brandon.
I met his dad on the sideline. I think his dad is a policeman, right, Coach? His uncle. I think I met.
Yeah, his uncle I think was a fireman or policeman.
Yeah,
Policeman.
yeah.
One of the two.
Great guy. I remember.
Yeah, great family.
Yeah, I was on the sideline.
Yeah, great family as well, man.
I can't remember who y'all were playing that night. It was a Thursday night game. I came up to Bossier, and man, everybody was in the crowd. The support at Airline and Parkway and the schools over there is incredible, Coach. I mean, what do you think of the support? I mean, I got really good fans.
I think it's second to none. At Parkway, the whole time we were there, it was just great, crowds and a lot of fun. People would come and tailgate. It was unique because we had to drive to the stadium and drive through it all. And my dad, my brother and my dad would, my dad's a little older, so my brother would usually take him up here to games. And every time we come to Airline, they would always be like, "Man, I love coming to this place, man. They got great pork chops." And so they're pumped up. They're pumped up about that aspect of here. But even Airline, I mean, they've had a lot of success. And every time we've come to the games, it's been packed out, and it's been the atmosphere. People don't understand, man. North Louisiana's got some really good football. We're I appreciate y'all covering us and all that, but you look at it statewide. A lot of it is New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, that area down there. But man, people got to understand Monroe, North Louisiana has some really good football.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, 29 years now coming up to Shreveport, Natchitoches, Bossier City, all the way to what they say, Mendon, almost to Ruston, almost to the Monroe area. But notable alumni, Coach. I did not know this, so we're both put on the spot if you don't know. But Larry Robinson, NBA champion with the Houston Rockets. I did not know that.
I know now.
And I can't forget this one, man. I knew it before the show, but David Toms, golfer David.
Oh
Toms.
yeah, PGA golfer. Yeah, he's got a little shrine out there in the front.
Ryan Gaddy, member of the Louisiana Senate. Don't know who that is, but senator. Alan West, member of U.S. House of Representatives from Missouri. And we talked about Todd Walker, the All-American and now the spokesman for SEC Network Baseball. Him and two Louisiana natives, DeLucci, who went to Ole Miss from Catholic, which is Jace's school. Yeah. Isn't that something, Coach? Out of the SEC Network, you got a guy hosting the show from Louisiana. Yeah. And you got two of their three main announcers for baseball from Louisiana. What you think about that?
I mean, you got the best school. You got the best school in America in Baton Rouge. I mean, LSU is the best. I mean, everybody wants to be an LSU Tiger. I mean, let's be honest. It's the best school. It's the best. It's the best state. I mean, there's nothing you can't love about going down there. And all of our food is good. That's another thing. Our food is good. The people are nice for the most part. Until about 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. But if you get there early enough, everybody will invite you over to their tailgate. And, but just, I mean, it's a phenomenal place to be. Louisiana, all the way through the state. All of our phenomenal 1AA schools: Southeastern, McNeese, Northwestern. Yeah. And then UL and Tech. My boy Sonny Cumbie at Tech. So me and Coach Cumbie, man, we go way back to when he was at TCU. I think that was the absolute. That was a home run. Both guys, both ULL and Tech had great hires. But Coach Cumbie, I've known Coach Cumbie for a long time, and he is one of the. There's college coaches, and then there's the really good echelon of college coaches, and I put him at the very top. Man, he's just
you just got Tech people pumped.
He's a relationship man. We're a lot alike. I mean, Sonny Cumbie's a guy never has a bad day.
Coach, you got all of Ruston pumped up, man.
Shoot, man, I'll tell you what, I enjoyed it. I appreciated, when Joe Sloan was coming over there recruiting us at Parkway, and when Coach Holtz was there, and they did a great job. But of course, Coach Sloan is big time now at LSU. Yeah. But Sonny Cumbie, man, Sonny Cumbie is he's one of the great guys in college football. He's one of the guys that even when I was at Leesville, he would come by and visit. Just great guy.
What's crazy, Coach? You look at Texas Tech. That's the second Sonny from Texas Tech. Sonny Dykes, Sonny Cumbie.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Both TCU, offensive minds. Yeah.
Yeah, he recruited. He recruited Levander Liggins when I was at Leesville. And Sonny Cumbie is one of good.
He was good.
He was one of the cool cats of college football, man. He'd come in there and undo his blazer and cross his legs and talk to you like y'all been friends forever, man. He was another one.
Well, he's going to definitely close a lot of recruits with those mamas, huh, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to talk like that. Him and Joe Sloan, I always thought Joe was one of the great ones on that staff. And when I heard he got the LSU job, I said, man, that guy's going to tear it up for LSU.
Yeah, there was, man. Sloan and some of the great guys over the years, man. Sloan was one of them. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah.
Marcus Lovings, who's at Arkansas State. He's another guy that, man, I can pick up the phone and call him anytime and he'll
cut
answer.
his teeth at ULL. He was
ULL. Nichols Austin was the interim head coach at Austin Peay. Just another phenomenal guy.
Coach, leading LSU, hobbies, you kind of like me, it's just football, but you see, like, you watch a lot of college baseball.
I do, man. I love watching college baseball. I started a couple of years ago. My dad's older, and my dad loves LSU baseball. So I'd go over there and get it on the internet because he doesn't fool with all that. So, and we would just sit down and watch college baseball. And I really enjoy watching college baseball. A lot of people are like, man, that's boring, but I love sitting there and saying, man, hey, look, they're gonna throw a fastball, high fastball here. They're gonna throw a curveball, and we get into arguments. My brother was a phenomenal catcher in high school.
Okay.
Who was another guy who was maybe just a little bit too short to go on to the next level. But as far as a catcher in high school, he's one of the best I've ever seen. He was great. He just wasn't just didn't want to play at the next level. He was one of those guys that enjoyed school. And I don't know what was wrong with him, but anyway, we'll all sit around and watch LSU baseball. We love LSU baseball. We love LSU football, and it's a whole lot of fun.
I got to ask you this for LSU baseball, because you know baseball. So I'm watching baseball, and you got Barry, you got Cruz, who are going to be first round picks. You got this freshman, Josh Pearson, who's going to be phenomenal from West Monroe. You got a pretty good pitching staff that better than I thought they'd be, but they got swept by a good Arkansas, maybe not as good as the Arkansas team 2 years ago, but what do you think's wrong with the LSU baseball team right now? I mean, it can change on any time, but I mean, they just kind of up and down right now with a lot of firepower.
Man, I don't think anything is wrong with them. That's the problem in baseball, man. You can go to Arkansas. And I think another big thing is, Jay Johnson's in his first year. I think people have to be reasonable and give him a little bit of time to get his program the way he wants. He's got to get his guys in. He does things differently than he does things differently than Paul Maneri did. And I thought Paul Maneri was a great coach. But Jay Johnson does things a little different. He's going to be a little more offensive. He wants to kind of keep he wants to get the guys that are offensive out there and try to plug them in the right spots in the field, and all that stuff will improve, man. I mean, it's LSU baseball. The thing that people have to understand in general about baseball these days is baseball. There's a lot of parity because you can go, you can live in Maryland and go to Stony Brook and still get drafted in the first. I mean, there's so many outlets nowadays for college baseball that there's so much parity that Fresno States are winning the national championship, just stuff like that. So I mean, the days of just where we're just going to dominate is probably those days are probably over.
Unless you're 30-2 Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest, man. I mean, holy cow,
isn't that crazy?
Patello's done a great job.
Yeah.
They've given that guy resources, and they've given him time, and they've given him all the right things that people want. This is the society of instant gratification. They want to see it on Twitter, man. They want to see it now. And I think people need to be reasonable with Jay Johnson. Now if we're having the same stuff in 4 years, maybe so, but no, man, I think he's a phenomenal coach. You look at his track record, and I was thrilled when they hired him. You look at guys like Vitello, he's got it going. I mean, it's going to be like that, but I think Jay Johnson's the same caliber guy. I think he's a phenomenal coach. And I have a kid that I coached at Leesville that actually works on the staff. It's kind of like a student guy down there, and he speaks extremely high of him. So I think LSU baseball is going to be fine. I mean, it's baseball, man. The things, it takes a while to get your program, the way you want it. And I'm pumped up.
And I think they'll make a regional. I mean, I think they'll get in a regional. And once you get in that, anything, it's open season then. So they might play a Hofstra, and Hofstra might beat them like a Stony Brook. You don't know. Like you said, it's a crazy world because
You
I think
never know with all that stuff,
A&M and
man. I
Ole
mean,
Miss, A&M and Ole Miss and LSU are all kind of right there. And I think the only one above LSU is Tennessee for the whole league. You know, Florida's down, which is crazy. Vandy is down.
I mean, Tennessee's in a league of their Tennessee's in a league of their own, you know.
Yeah, crazy year. You know, Auburn's not that. I mean, Alabama, I think they just need to beat Alabama and Missouri this weekend, which this show is going to be on Monday. We'll figure out what happens next week.
Yeah, that'll be a big series too.
Coach, any final thoughts about this coming season and spring? How do y'all do spring? Is it late spring, early spring?
So we're, we have a really good, we have a lot of guys in track, and I'm big on, hey, let's wait till district track's over and regional track and try to get those through. That way we can see who's going to go state. Coach Fields does a great job with track, so we're anticipating to have a few guys and all that. But we're going to start May 2nd, and we're going to roll through and hopefully find somebody to do a spring game with on the 17th. If not, we're going to do an intra squad. But the thoughts are, I'm ready to get back to pre-COVID football, where we don't have to worry all the time about losing kids and quarantine and doing silly stuff like that. Not silly stuff, because COVID was a big deal, and
right.
I think the way everybody's handled it and all that has gotten us to the point where we're at now. But I'm just looking forward for the kids to go back to a sense of normalcy. You look back, and one of my favorite kids I ever coached, he was a part of that COVID year. He was a senior, and I just felt like some of those kids, rightfully so, because COVID was a big deal and it was tough. But those kids had a tough time, because all they wanted to do was play sports. And I'm just looking forward to that, to getting back to somewhat of a sense of normalcy and getting to play all the games and, having big crowds and get this thing going, headed in the right direction and having a lot of fun.
Well, Coach, you're going to nail it with KTBS and all those TV stations, man. They're going to love you. Go interview Coach. It's going to be an easy interview, man. We ain't got to pull any words out of Coach, man. Coach is good to go. His mama ran radio station.
I talk fast and I talk a lot.
He's good, man. Let's get Coach again on. But Coach, good luck to you. Don't go anywhere right now. I'm going to end the show. If somebody wants to catch our other shows, you can go to YouTube. We just had a great coach come on from Westminster in the Opelousas area. And I want to check that out. Coach had a couple of recruits come on that were really good players, a couple of sleepers, and we're going to have some great coaches. Actually, next week, we've got Mangum coming on. Mangum's coach is coming on, which Coach Scott Wilcher is going to be on. He's a good guy. And we're going to be back next week. And everybody go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.